Hey everyone, I wanted to get on here today to talk a little bit about limiting yourself on your spiritual path. So, as you're going through on your journey, there's a lot of times where you're wanting to do something, you're setting goals for yourself, or you're setting different things that you want to be able to accomplish, but you're setting them in a way to where you're limiting what you can actually do. You're putting basically a block of where you could go. The only thing that can limit you is yourself. The only thing that can limit you is your mindset on what you have going on. So as you're setting goals, it's good to set goals. It's good to set realistic goals, goals that, saying will get you to, wherever the next level you're trying to get to. But at the same time, as you're setting goals and you're setting that destination of where you're wanting to go, you have to keep changing that. That has to keep adjusting. That has to keep flowing to the point where you will be able to grow into the truest and best you. Because if you start limiting your beliefs, limiting, say your mindset, limiting, basically your energy and frequency that you put out, then you are missing out on some of the other things that, this journey, this experience has to offer. There's so much more out here for us to experience if we don't limit ourselves to just, say the 3D experience, the 4D experience, the 5D experience, whatever it is that you're limiting yourself with, because we as spiritual beings are limitless. We have ultimate possibilities, and we have ways of, being able to accomplish things, that, might seem crazy, might seem, outlandish, but really and truly, are they outlandish? Because, everybody has, a dream that they want to get to. And some people have thought that they couldn't get to a certain point, and then they reached that point. And then when they got there, they set another goal, and then they reached another point because they started to grow. You see where I'm going with this? Once you start to understand that you don't need to limit yourself and that you can keep growing as a spiritual being, you keep growing as a person, you can keep growing, out here on this journey, then you realize that there's more that you can do. You don't have to stop yourself at one thing. You don't have to limit yourself to one niche, one genre, say one aspect of this reality. Because there's so many different aspects of this reality that we are here to experience, that we are here to understand, and not even just understand, we are here to go through and make use of in order to grow into our truest and best self. So don't limit yourself. Don't stop yourself from going for something and achieving something because you believe that that's too far-fetched. That's too, that's too high end. Set you some small goals in order to get there. And then once you get there, see is that really where you wanted to go? Or did you want to go somewhere more? Did you want to go further? Did you want to do more with it? And, and really change your perspective as you go along. Because once you change your perspective of thinking, okay, this goal that I had was where I can go. That's all I can do. Once you start to change that perspective and be like, hey, yeah, that is something I can do, but I can do more. I can do this. I can do that. You know what I mean? And it's not even just about wanting to do more and wanting to do greater things. It's about, not stopping yourself at where you currently are. Not stopping yourself at your current skill set. Not stopping yourself at your current mindset on life. You have to be able to grow with it and go further in order to be able to achieve bigger and better things. Not stopping yourself, not limiting yourself to the people that are around you. Not limiting yourself to the beliefs that you have right now. You have to, say, and break those limits, break those bonds, break those programs, break all those things in order to rebuild. Sometimes you have to break things down in order to build them back up. So you have to break down those limiting beliefs. You have to break down those limiting programs. You have to break down those limiting aspects of yourself in order to build it up to something greater and something bigger, because your foundation, needs to expand so that you can have something higher. And that's another thing when you are working on your foundation, and you're like, okay, well, this is the foundation I want for this goals, leave some room to where you can expand your foundation. Leave some room to where you can expand it and that you can actually grow it to a point where it'll be able to do exactly what you want to do. You'll be able to go to the places where you want to go. Once you start limiting yourself, you start putting another filter on your perspective. You start putting another filter on what you can see, on what you can hear, and what you can do out here in this world. And once you start limiting yourself in those ways, you're actually cutting off different opportunities. You're cutting off different options for yourself. And, if we know anything about life, once you start cutting off different options, then you're clear cut on one path. But this path is branching. You know what I mean? It's a big path, but there's also like little trails to go along. It's like if you're hiking on the Appalachian Trail, you could be on the Appalachian Trail, but there's different little smaller trails along the bigger Appalachian Trail. So, just think about that. As you're going through this journey, like, hey, there's all these different paths, there's all these different stuff going on. Say, I'm going down this path. This might be the path that you're on right now, but guess what? It might branch off and go over there. But if you're like, no, I can't branch off and go over here. I have to keep going straight. I have to keep going down this one. Then you've cut off a whole nother opportunity. What if you went down the other side there was a beautiful lake that you could have rested at and then really learned something from the wildlife or the nature around there. And then guess what? That trail went around and it met back up with your other path. Maybe that trail over there had less obstacles. Maybe it had more. Maybe those obstacles, help you to grow. I was watching this one thing and it was talking about how butterflies, when they are breaking out of their cocoon, if you help a butterfly to break out of its cocoon, it won't be able to fly. The act of actually, using their muscles to break out of that cocoon is what helps them to be able to support their weight so that they can fly. So you got to think of these obstacles that you're going through. You're trying to limit yourself from, saying going through those obstacles. But what if those obstacles are what's going to help you to be able to fly? What if those obstacles are what's going to be able to help you support your own weight, support your own energy into the next stage of life, to the next stage of the spiritual journey that you're going on? So don't limit yourself. Just like the butterfly, it didn't limit itself to that cocoon. Yeah, it was in that cocoon for a while to make that transformation. And then once it broke out of that cocoon, now it's flying, now it's doing whatever it's supposed to do. It's out there exploring. It's out there, taking a different path because it was a caterpillar. It was a worm. It was only able to crawl. It wasn't able to soar through the skies, but it didn't limit itself. It transformed its mindset. It grew its mindset and then went into a phase of that cocoon in order to, expand what he knew, expand what they knew and what they could experience. And then they were able to fly. They were able to explore a whole different set of rules, a whole different set, of beliefs in this reality. So, be like a butterfly and break out of your cocoon. Be like the butterfly and, expand your perspective. Expand what you feel is the reality around you. And don't limit yourself to just crawling around on the ground, because you can soar. You can fly through the skies. There's so much things that you can do. So just take that and really think about it for a while. And hey, you might learn something out.